Cause and effect, ordered events. The limiting velocity of space-time is a limit on rotation in space-time. Consider a sheet of paper with the time and space axis drawn upon it on 90 degree to each other. Draw two small crosses anywhere on the paper to represent two events and draw a line through these two events, crosses. If the rotations in spacetime available to us were not restricted, it would be possible to rotate the spacetime axis first to a position where the time axis is perpendicular to the straight line through the crosses, and then to continue the rotation until the temporal order of the two events crosses were reversed as measured along the time axis. These rotations of axis would be different velocities. So if the rotation in space-time available to us were not restricted, by putting our foot on the accelerator, we would be able to reverse the time order of any two spatio-temporally separate events in space-time. If the events influenced each other, one caused the other, then by accelerating, we would be able to change cause into effect and effect into cause. It gives one pause, does it not, to think that by changing his velocity, your author could make his death precede his birth, leaving no time to write these words. Well, not quite. If your author could travel at the speed of light, then your author's birth and his death would be simultaneous in the stationary observer's view, because the time interval experienced by a traveler moving at the speed of light is 0 in the stationary observer's view, but your author is restricted from moving at or greater than the speed of light. The rotations, velocities available to us in space-time are restricted. They are restricted to those velocities between plus minus c. Upon a piece of paper, draw the space-time axis and two lines at 45 degree to the horizontal. The lines represent the limiting velocities plus minus c. They are the asymptotes on Euclidean paper of the hyperbola, which is the circle of hyperbolic space. Now place two crosses anywhere in the area between these two lines on the positive time side of the paper. Initially, we will place them so that the line connecting them is less steep than the asymptotes. In the diagram, the cross or event nearest to the origin is the first event because it happens at an earlier time, and the cross furthest from the origin is the latter event. The game is to try and reverse the time order of the events by rotating the axis, leaving the crosses unmoved. You will find that you can alter the time order of the events only if you rotate the time axis outside of the 45 degree lines, that is, go to a velocity faster than the speed of light, or if the line connecting the two crosses is steeper than the asymptotes, which it is in the next diagram. If the line connecting the crosses is steeper than the asymptotes, then the events are at such a distance from each other in space and at such proximity to each other in time that they cannot be both visited by anything traveling less than or equal to the speed of light. They are effectively in parts of the universe so distant from each other in space and yet so close to each other in time that they can never cause each other, because nothing can travel at a speed greater than the speed of light between them. Thus, one of them cannot be the cause of the other. Looking back to the first diagram of the lecture, the two simultaneous events are so spatially distant from each other that they cannot influence each other in the time between them. The mathematics of the limiting velocity is the ratio of the sine hyperbolic function to the cos hyperbolic function. It is because this ratio tends to unity as the space-time angle increases. that rotation beyond 45 degree in space-time is impossible. That's Euclidean degrees, not space-time degrees, but this is why we have cause and effect ordered events in the universe. It is remarkable that this ratio is such that we can rotate all the way to the point of making your author's birth simultaneous with his death, but not beyond that point, to where his death precedes his birth. What would it do to the laws of physics if kettles sometimes boiled before they were filled with water? Since the time order of events is due to the nature of the hyperbolic trigonometric function cos hyperbolic sin hyperbolic, history cannot be reversed because of the nature of those functions. Those functions are splittings of the exponential functions, the God of all things.